Good morning, everyone. August 7th, 2020, Friday. Shakespeare Sonnet 137, sort of wrapping up the Dark Lady series of sonnets and his very self-evident proclivity towards misogyny and racism. Sorry, I was trying to combine the two into one term. Um, if you were to take this sonnet and use it as a definition of who William Shakespeare is, he's an asshole. He's continuing the tropes about how big his penis is. He's insulting the Dark Lady, saying she looks like a plague. He basically says she's the village bicycle and everyone had a ride. He calls her a prostitute. But then there's some really interesting depth that Patterson and this one of my other sources that I follow quite a lot, they talk about how creative some of the writing is, the chiasmus that they bring up, which is a term that I hadn't encountered since university and my Canadian poetry classes. So it was such a nice flashback. Took a little rabbit hole. That's fun. But there's references to Virgil, and as where is it? There's an old poet, Sir Thomas Wyatt, who was writing about 50 or 60 years before Shakespeare. Again, more in that Petrarchan style of love, where you're establishing the dichotomy within yourself. Do I love? Do I not love? Do they love me? It's the flower. Love me not. There's so much depth to the writing, but not to the content of the writing, if that makes sense. As they analyze the references Shakespeare makes to previous writers, Petrarch, Wyatt, Virgil, and the tropes, typical tropes of the time. Apparently the term fool could have also referenced the male penis in Shakespeare's time. So there's plenty of double entendres available. In sum, this is not a flattering review of Shakespeare's work, if I may quote Patterson exactly. It's a wonderful example of the way that poetry, in its intelligent honoring of human stupidity, can be both really bad and great at the same time. It isn't paradoxical, and it doesn't even present a contradiction. I love that. It's a simultaneity. So the analysis is worth spending time on and worth reading. Line by line, there's so much work. The one analysis, line by line, is intensely deep, looking at the choice of words, the meaning at the time, the possibility of the double entendres, the references to promiscuity, the references to old writing, the specific references to individuals in the time. All of that is available in 137. But in the end, they both agree that while you read it and can look at all this amazing stuff that's multi-layered, it's still an example of what a piece of shit Shakespeare was. He's a misogynist, racist pig. So with that said, 4 minutes of preamble. Here it is. Thou blind fool, love, what dost thou to mine eyes that they behold and see not what they see? They know what beauty is, see where it lies, yet what the best is take the worst to be, if eyes corrupt by over-partial looks be anchored in the bay where all men ride. Why of eyes falsehood hast thou forged hooks, whereto the judgment of my heart is tied? Why should my heart think that a several plot, which my heart knows the wide world's commonplace, or mine eyes, seeing this, say this is not to put fair truth upon so foul a face. In things right, true, my heart and eyes have erred. Into this false plague are they now transferred. Thank you. See you tomorrow.